Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So we're finally here with the patch notes review for patch 3.2c. Now I'm really sorry that this is coming out so late. I previously did make a promise to you guys, like I think by now it's almost a year or over a year ago, that I will be releasing patch notes reviews within 24 hours of the patch dropping, but for this one I really couldn't, and I'm apologizing for that because I was having a 4-day camp and I couldn't really make any videos during the camp, of course. The Corki video, if you guys are wondering, was pre-recorded before the camp so that I could release some content during it. But anyways, without further ado, we're gonna jump into this patch, and this patch honestly is really small. I was kind of considering not making this video altogether, but I decided to do it anyways. And also, if you guys are wondering about the tier list, I'm still not gonna be making a tier list because the patch 3.2b and 3.2c did change almost like really little. Maybe Wukong is getting the most changes out of all of the changes, but we will be making one in patch 3.3, which based on the leaks from the Chinese server is already shaping up to be a really exciting patch. So this is the final balance patch before 3.3, of course, which is going to be releasing in the middle of July. But apparently this is going to be live on the Icons tournament, so yeah. Anyways, we're going to move on first to Brand. So Brand, his Seer, which is the Q, the stun duration is going up from 1.5 to 1.75 seconds. So that's a 0.25 second increase on the stun, which is a quarter of a second. Now honestly, I don't think this is going to change anything at all because a quarter of a second is barely noticeable. Maybe you could get in one extra auto attack. I guess it's a good buff, but it's barely a buff. It's what I'll say. So I don't think this matters too much. It's a little. It pretty much can be sort of ignored. Next we have Fizz. So Fizz, Urchin Strike, the base damage. Urchin Strike, I believe, is his Q. So base damage is doubling at rank 1, and it's going up by only slightly in the late game by 10. So basically it's going up by 10 at every single level, but because at rank 1 it kind of doubles because it's only 10 and you add 10 damage to that, it doubles. Now this is actually really good for Fizz because Fizz maxes his Q last most of the time, or he maxes his E first. Normally you max W second, but some people do max Q second, so I guess it kind of depends. But either way, this is really good because if you do not max your first ability, this gives you a lot more value, so big buff for Fizz. Now Janna Howling Gale, which is her Q, time required for a whirlwind to reach destination, going down by 0.25 seconds. Now this 0.25 seconds I think is going to be a lot more significant than Brand's 0.25 seconds, so this is talking about projectile speed, not stun duration. So this is going to be a relatively big buff for Janna. And the Zephyr, which is her W, projectile speed increase, I don't think this one really matters because it's point and click anyway, and it will pretty much just follow the champion wherever they go, so I don't really think this matters too much, but the Howling Gale buff does actually matter. Now Katarina also getting a buff. So base damage of her ultimate is going up by 50 at all levels. Now I'm not too sure why they thought Katarina was weak and gave her even more damage than she already had, but apparently that is indeed the case. So pretty big buff for Katarina. 50 base damage at all ranks is nothing to scoff at. So this will make Katarina do more damage, and yeah, Katarina main's gonna have a lot more fun, and ADC mains like me, not so much. So double up, which is Miss Fortune's Q, projectile speed increase. I really don't think this one really matters all that much anyways, because if you're gonna hit the champion, it's gonna lock on anyways, and it's gonna just fly and hit them no matter how slow it travels. Same deal as Janna's W buff. It really doesn't matter all that much. Now Soraka getting a pretty hefty nerf. The rejuvenation healing on her Star Call, which I think is her Q, is actually going down at base by 30 at the max rank. At first rank is still the same, and it kind of scales by reduction of 10, reduction of 20, and then reduction of 30, and also 10% AP scaling going down. So I guess Soraka is sort of becoming really strong. Not really strong because she's still countered by grievous wounds. But Soraka has definitely been a little bit more popular as of late, and I do have a friend who's a Soraka one trick. And I do feel that Soraka is pretty decent. I wouldn't say it's like S or S plus definitely, but I think she's pretty decent, and this is going to take her down a peg. So next up, Thresh, his bonus armor and ability power per soul going up from 1.5 to 2. So this of course is because Thresh doesn't actually gain any base armor, and his armor is from the souls, as is the ability power, which isn't really a significant stat for Thresh. So getting more bonus armor is going to make Thresh more tanky in the late game, which is of course going to be good for Thresh and going to make him even better. He's already a pretty solid support, but yeah, gonna make him even better. So we have Nightbringer Yasuo and Dawnbringer Riven already released as of the recording of this video, and a couple of accessories. All these are in the shop already, I believe, together with Yasuo and Riven skins. So yeah, that's pretty much it for patch 3.2c. Really small patch, kind of leading up to patch 3.3 coming up real soon. So thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.